Let me holler at y'all for 2 seconds, man. It's all Journey to the West, man. It's all Journey to the West, Catholicism, and Christianity. Emus reveal my what I really think it is he has the same mixed blood as Luffy. I said this before on my what the D stand, the will of D. What that means, and I said it was David. You could watch that video. David's lineage through like Jesus, through Solomon. All of them had the same bloodline, and that's what God said that his chosen people was gonna be through the bloodline of David. Hence the letter D. David starts with D, and that's how I think the creator came up with that. That's still my theory on that. And I think Emu was basically like the Yaksha king. I don't know if you ever read any of the mythology to that, but I first came across it when I played Black Myth Wukong, the video game. And I read up on it. I'm like, who is the Yaksha king? What is this red baby? Like, I never really, I think I heard of it through other like shows and didn't really pay attention to it. But then like I dove deeper, and that's what Emu is, man. He's kind of like this. My theory, I think he's this illegitimate, uh, not marriage, but intimate, relationship that like Romeo and Juliet, like it wasn't supposed to happen. Why I can't think of what they call it. But lovers who wasn't supposed to have a child together, this relationship that wasn't supposed to be, and he has mixed blood of a Lunarian, and we what the colonizers we think of is like the British, European, like even throw some German in there, coming to America, Scottish, English. He has that bloodline of the rich, because even when you go back to the Yaksha King, because Oda and a lot of these creators they use Asian, lore too, and they tie it in with Christianity and Catholicism. Like I said, the Yaksha King is I want to say he's the god of wealth, and like that's kind of what Emu is. He controls treasure, so Emu knows what the One Piece is. I even dove a little bit deeper. Treasures within like the roots of trees they would hide them in, which is funny because then the devil fruit comes from a tree. Maybe that is the One Piece, is the tree of life, like in Christianity. So those are just theories, man. Like I said, I think it's like Shakespeare. They say about Shakespeare, every story has already been written, and it's basically all comes from Shakespeare. You could take that and say every story comes from the Bible, and they're just remixing it. Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I love the story as long as all outside, but I like his blend of that and him doing his own thing, like putting a twist to it. Cause it's all Journey to the West. You look at Goku, you look at Luffy, Black Myth Wukong is just another straight up retelling. A lot of cartoons, some not Naruto. You know what I mean? It's all Journey to the West, and when you throw those elements in there, and you find the Christian and the Catholic elements, like with the Spanish too. Throw that in there as far as like the head class in this show. That's why a lot of them have like Spanish names, or even some of the pirates who did have families, who came from somewhere they had Spanish names. Or look at Shanks with the Garland family. Look at I would say they probably were more Spaniards, like just like the Spanish queen who had red hair. Shanks has red hair. Like it comes from that lineage of those rulers. Look at Law, even though his family came of wealth, but they wasn't like Doflamingo or anything like that. Law, I think he's supposed to be from some European place, but he still has this whole Spanish, like Doflamingo, Don Quixote feel to him. You know what I mean? And you have those, and like I said, I think emo just comes from a mix of that and the beast, the devil, like whatever Kaido comes from. Those that devil lineage. He comes from the Lunarians and some other mix, and I think he's like the Lucifer, and Luffy is like the Jesus slash Michael. General Angel, and they're gonna clash and have that heaven and hell battle. It's like I said, it's all the same thing, and you can probably find even more Asian mythology to put those two together. Like you could use Buddha and something else that they probably are supposed to represent as well. That's why Luffy is really just about freedom. He doesn't even want anything. He just wants his freedom. That is the biggest key in his life. It's like with Buddhism is just be happy with what you are in nature, stand still, and that's how you don't look for sex, don't look for money, don't look for none of these, things in life like that. That be like you have everything you need, basically, and I'm butchering it, but in a basic sense, that's what Buddhism is. It's just being reaching nirvana is like nothingness. Like it's you are already get rid of all of the things that you think you want, these wants and desires of this world. You get what I mean? And being actually genuinely happy with it. And that's freedom. That's what freedom really is. You know what I mean? And his other dream is to just basically help no children should starve, which they should. But then you look, emo is hoarding treasures, not letting anybody know what's really going on. It's people are at the top and people are at the bottom. You know, chaos, just like the devil, trickery. Lucifer, his ways are that of Lucifer. You know what I mean? Just straight trickery. Letting people use women as anything they want to use them as. Look at the celestial dragons. Like how do we let that go on? But that's the difference between people who are free, who were sovereign, and then the people who enslaved them, just like in real life. You think about Native Americans, which I think about Skypiea a lot when I think about Native Americans. You think about where Luffy is from, which is Brazil. Like they got a Mexican kid playing, but I think Luffy is supposed to be like Brazil, which a lot of slaves went through Brazil. You think about Africa, of course, with you throw Kuma in there, something like that, and then even getting captured and taking on the religion of the sun god, which wasn't I don't think came from there, just like slaves. I don't think that really came from there, or it came from you have a Bible in Ethiopia as well. Kuma could come from that, and he's this big slave, just like how they got those big slaves to work the fields, and he escaped. It's all the same thing. All of these people I just named, the Native Americans, the Brazilians, the Africans, just people who lived in the sun and lived off the land and didn't care about conquering people. Then you got the conquerors on the other side. It's like, it's our land now. You know what I'm saying? Your women are our women now. And that's what the big plan is. And it's all coming to Oda's, what he would define as a rapture, what he would define as a Armageddon. I think that's what it's coming down, because Luffy is genuinely a god, just in that world. Is he ate a god devil fruit, and it's all the will of D. It's all throughout that bloodline and prophecy. So, like I said, it's all the same thing, man. Nothing is new under the sun. Said even Shakespeare borrowed and copied from the Bible. You get there's no difference between like a Hercules and a Samson. Really, it's all the same stories being told over and over and over again, and this is no different. Like I said, I still love Shakespeare stories. I still love, Homer's The Iliad. I'm going to see the Odyssey, even though everybody is clowning it. I love all of these stories, man. These stories are still good. Like I said, everybody's story is the same, but it's just a little twist. It's their little personal twist of little personal things they go through. If you look at Quentin Tarantino's movies, he just steals from other movies and just bunches them all together. That's all he does, and he makes them cool, which is art. You know what I'm saying? That's just his way of art. That's how he creates it. And it's no different with this, man. Like I said, my theory is just Emu is a part of whatever Kaido is. That devil lineage. With the horns, the beast, whatever the beast pirates were, not all of the beast pirates were that, but him and Yamato, grow the horn. I think he's part of that, and he has other bloodlines that goes against Luffy's, but they also have some of the same bloodline. It's my theory. It's I guess it would be the same as Michael and Lucifer, because Lucifer was an angel, so was Michael, But Lucifer was sitting down, That's what I got. I like to reveal. Hopefully we get more of what it is, what emo really is. It might be deeper than what I'm saying. I hope I'm everything I just said is wrong, and Oda goes somewhere crazy with it. But it was just fun to actually see a good chapter after a while, like a great chapter. I'm gonna say, like we haven't had one of these great chapters in a minute. I like the Egghead. Egghead, I think, is in my top 5 arcs, man, for a couple of reasons. But that's it, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the chapter, man. I just want to holler at and talk to y'all for a minute and give my 2 cents on it. I'm out.